What's up, YouTube? Welcome to Gamer Rant. My name's Kevin, and as you can see, I got a new webcam, so we got a wider shot of all my books, which is kind of ironic because this is a video game channel. But hey, to my defense, there is some video game stuff back there. I'm also going to be putting random video games here from now on in every video that I do. Now, with that being said, let's jump into today's content. And today's content comes from this amazing article. The world's most popular video game is a huge mistake, from ripping off Pokemon to forcing players into the worst possible scenarios. No game is more cursed than Palworld. Now, if you've been on this channel before, I usually just kind of do what I'm doing right now. Speak to the camera. No script. But I've actually written stuff down. And although I do have a teleprompter, I was too lazy to set it up, so I'm gonna be reading from a script on my computer screen. Not that I always look at my camera anyway, if you watch any of my past videos. So yeah, let's jump into this article and see what Luke Winky has to say. Written January 31st, 2024 at 5:09 p.m. Okay, so this is just talking about the success of Palworld. I just want to, kind of make that clear. This is talking about the success of Palworld. So not really relevant. This is unfortunate news for me and really anyone else who cares about the virtues of interactive entertainment, because Palworld's appeal is totally inscrutable. Palworld's success isn't impossible to understand or interpret, given that the majority are probably adults who grew up playing Pokemon. Nevertheless, Luke's virtue signaling can come into question when you look at other articles he's written, to which few are about video games, and even fewer are discussing violent video games. Palworld is a blatant looting of Nintendo's long-running Pokemon series. You can take control of a bright-eyed preteen. We're skipping this section because it's just describing Palworld. We're going to jump down to this other pink section. Each Pokemon game typically focuses on a boy or girl who leaves town to explore an enchanting continent on a year-long safari, establishing spirit bonds with the wordless Pikachus and Charmanders of the world. In all the creative arts, ideas are shared and used in different or slightly different ways. Why didn't Luke write an article discussing how he feels Dragon Quest Monsters, Neo no Kuni Wrath of the White Witch, or even Yokai Watch? All games that take inspiration from other myths and legends, and no doubt other creative arts such as Pokemon, all which, should be noted, are fictional worlds, characters, and creatures. However, research is key for any writer worth their weight, regardless if they write fiction or journalism, to which research is even more important to journalism. So simply playing the game would have told Luke that you don't play as a preteen, but as an adult. Now, in the article, he does claim that he did play the game because he doesn't like the game. But if he played the game, then he would know you play as an adult. You can have a beard. Palworld, meanwhile, discards all of these warm feelings completely in this game. You essentially enslave these cuddly creatures, condemning them to unpaid labor in the mines or lumber fields to gather resources, or better yet, arm them with steely Call of Duty style machine guns so they can assist in the subjugation of their peers. In other words, Palworld is a Pokemon ripoff where you can shoot poor defenseless creatures. In Palworld, however, you can find YouTube compilations of player hunters on the battlefield not befriending the roaming wildlife but blowing their heads off. In Pokemon and other games like Pokemon, you'll note that you can enslave fictional creatures to fight for you at the amusement of the fictional world's humans. In fact, if we look at another newer game, such as in Shroud, you can find fictional humans and enslave them to work at your base. You can also find YouTube videos of people killing fictional characters in these fictional worlds in such games as Baldur's Gate 3, GTA, and the Elder Scrolls series. You could also fall into the Fallout series as well. I mean, there's a list of games where the developers, in creating their art, video game, they decided to let you, well, Be evil if you solely desire to. It's a take on Pokemon that truly accepts our brokenness, wrote Dave Jones in a remarkably salient PC Gamer essay about Palworld's cruel resonance. Its smash success has perhaps proved quite how steeped in sin we all really are. Well, Mr. Dave, alright, because Luke wanted to mention another fellow, I guess, journalist that had the same viewpoint as him. If you look at other articles Dave Jones from PC Gamer has written, you'll note he has an article on the upcoming Avowed game. Set in its fictional world, I'd also bet you can kill innocent fictional characters at the player's own discretion, just like in the fictional world of the Outer Worlds, which is another game also created by Obsidian, who is doing Avowed. He has also written a few articles on Baldur's Gate 3. There's these two. And then if we go to page number 10, he also mentions Baldur's Gate in this article. Now, why do I bring this up? Well, that is because there's a lot of violence and you can kill innocent people at the player's discretion. So where is the hypocrisy? You see the hypocrisy we're talking about here, right? You understand it? You get it? Cool. All right, let's move on, shall we? Another game that allows the player to choose to kill fictional characters at the player's own discretion. Apparently, I decided to randomly say that, and then I also typed it out. So that's what we're going with. For instance, one eagle-eyed Twitter user who goes by Biofrog, that's how I'm going to pronounce it, all right, ladies and gentlemen, that noted some of Palworld's graphical geometry bears remarkable similarities to the renders you can find in some modern Pokemon games, raising the question of whether or not Pocket Pier was cribbing assets from the very franchise the studios hope to emulate. Kuro, head of development, seemed to deny these accusations, but Nintendo is reportedly investigating those potential IP violations. Nintendo is known for shutting down fan-made games, and they love the copyright strike system found on YouTube. So why would Nintendo wait so long for a game that was announced in 2021? Who knows? But Biofrog also admitted that he resized the models and that he was doing it not because he felt they stole the graphics, but because of animal cruelty found in the game. I am doing this because I think it's disgusting how much Palworld glorifies animal abuse, which ironically, just so we're all on the same page, again, Pokemon, you basically enslave little creatures to fight for the amusement and the entertainment of, well, you know, the fictional people with these fictional creatures in these fictional worlds. I'm going to repeat those fictional arguments a lot because it needs to be known that this is what this is. There's a difference between what we call reality and fiction or entertainment, which technically they're one and both the same here, fictional and entertainment. I did scale the models and I did apologize for being imprecise. I will never apologize for apologizing. So, you know, right off the bat, you can tell that his whole spiel for doing this had nothing to do with, oh, they're stealing from Pokemon, when ironically his whole thing is it's animal cruelty. But if you look at PETA, they don't like Pokemon either because they consider it animal cruelty. Now, the one thing that we can learn from both PETA and Biofrog is that they are clearly adults who do not know jack shit about what we call reality and the separation of fictional worlds and creatures. I guess enslaving fictional creatures in Pokemon to fight for the fictional worlds humans for entertainment is okay, and not considered animal cruelty in Biofrog's worldview. And yes, Nintendo responded. They don't mention the game specifically. They do mention that obviously we know what they're talking about, and they're basically investigating it. So what we have here is, ironically, again, Luke did not do any research because he could have found this information himself, that Biofrog's tweets is literally not evidence. And any journalist worth their weight in any kind of writing aspect would have known that and would have ignored it and moved the fuck on. But people seem to forget that Palworld is also found on Game Pass, so why would Microsoft take that risk if they didn't feel Palworld was stealing from Pokemon? Also, in every creative art, artists, writers, developers all use ideas and take inspiration from other works. It's the nature of the creative arts as a whole. Okay, so this is pretty much just kind of talking a little bit more about Palworld. nothing really caught my grasp or attention. This mentions 2 other articles, which I may or may not do a video on. You can let me know if you want me to in the video. I was actually thinking about doing a live video and reacting to those articles. I'm probably going to do that. But anyway, let's move on to the next section, shall we? Okay. That means its cult shall only grow larger from here. A generation of young people are currently falling in love with this new incarnation of Pokemon, tuned to the dehumanizing horrors of late capitalist, where these lovable creatures are nothing more than assets from which to extract value, a means to an end. Palworld believes that we are sick society, and lamely, the numbers don't lie. Pokemon at its core is also a game designed to extract value for the creatures. The more value people perceive in Pokemon, the more money is generated for Game Freak and Nintendo. In fact, this is true for any video game or creative arts that sells products. For this reason alone, this point Luke thought he had is objectively moot. Luke believes that he has some kind of moral high ground or knowledge, but truth is, the facts show that Luke doesn't know the difference between fiction or reality. He's willing to lie to benefit his own agenda, just like Biofrog. He's also only shown he doesn't care about the facts, innocent till proven guilty, and that he only cares about his perceived value for this baseless and unresearched article will bring traffic and money to him and the company he works for, Slate. So at the end of the day, there wasn't much thought or research done for this article. It gives a lot of misinformation. It also is trying to convey to you this idea of animal cruelty, and yet what is he defending? He's defending Pokemon, which any person, illogical person, such as the people that work at PETA, would hold the same argument for Pokemon. They would hold the same argument for Dragon Quest Monsters, for Neo no Kuni, Wrath of the White Witch, for Yokai Watch. So, anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video in some fashion or form. And remember, gamers, if you're not voicing your thoughts and concerns about the bullshit in gaming and the bullshit, uneducated, unresearched, apparently bad writers say in their journalism, you just might be a part of the motherfucking problem.